Alright, thank you, Warden. Alright, Pajambo, everyone. My name's Luette, and I'll be your safari guide today through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Before we head on out, if you look overhead, you'll see an animal spotting guide there that'll help you identify some of the animals we have to see out there today. We're not going to see all of them, but hopefully most of them. That is very important that you do remain seated at all times. We are going to be traveling over some very rough terrain. That includes both when the vehicle is moving and when the vehicle is stopped. It is for your safety as well as the safety of those around you. Also, please keep your hands inside at all times. A lot of the bushes have very sharp thorns. A lot of the animals have very sharp teeth. We just got clearance to head on out. It's a twin day. Let's go.
Went in the water.
Now, the first part of the reserve that we are heading into here is called the Little Ituri Forest. Animals here in the forest are known for their natural colorings and markings, which help them to blend into the tree lines. Right over on the right-hand side there. First of all, if you look to the very far right side, you'll see the yellow-backed duiker. Primarily a nocturnal species, the duikers are the smallest of the forest antelopes. Now, the yellow-backed duiker's name does mean diving buck. That's exactly what it would do if we happen to startle it. It would let out a very loud, very piercing alarm call, raise that yellow patch of fur on its back to scare us off, and then dive right on into the nearest bushes. Also over that way is the okapi. The okapi looks like it's related to a zebra since it has those stripes there on its legs, but that is not a zebra relative at all. It's the only living relative of the giraffe. Okapis are generally very reclusive, and because of that, they were not discovered by Westerners until 1901. Prior to that time, they were thought to be a mythical creature. Only the locals knew better, and they never told anyone. Now, over on the far side of the watering hole, you might be able to see back there, there is a black rhino. If you look beyond that tree there, a little bit of a clearing. Black rhinos are generally solitary. Unfortunately, they are also very endangered. There are less than 5,000 black rhinos left in the world today, and those numbers are still dropping. That's primarily due to poaching for the horns, even though their horns are only made out of keratin. And keratin is the exact same thing as what your hair and fingernails are made out of, so technically it's not even a true horn. Rhinos do have no natural predators. The only ones that they do face problems from, unfortunately, are humans. Looks like some more of the forest antelopes right up ahead. And the bird nerve. Now, the lighter colored species on top of the hill there is the greater kudu. Those are females up there. I can tell that because they don't have any horns, whereas the males do. But also only females gather in small groups. The darker colored animal here, sort of creeping along the bushes and right up ahead here, are bongos. Bongos generally stay in very dense vegetation where they blend in very well with their surroundings. And because they do blend in so well, they can be so difficult to see that they've earned themselves the nickname the ghost of the forest. We're heading in the direction of the Safi River, so we'll stop over this way and see what's going on. Usually anywhere where there is a source of water is a good spot to look for animals. And there's a hippo right there in the water. And hippos are amongst the largest and are the most dangerous animal in Africa. That's because they have incisors that reach lengths of 18 inches long, and they use those for defense. More hippos in the water on the left also. Hippos do generally spend the day submerged in water. That's to keep them overheating. They're a nocturnal species, and nighttime is when they would also come out on the banks and graze. Those birds that are right there in the middle are pink-backed pelicans. They're only pink during mating season though. And those birds can nest in some rather large colonies. It could be anywhere from about 20 pairs all the way up to about 500 pairs. Black vulture hanging out there. During the daytime, this place is just about covered in black vultures. They come to help clean up after the hippos, so.
I've seen 7 hippos. Look at that one. Little bird. He's white. It looks like he's like coming off the water. There's a bunch of white stuff around him.
Right over on the banks there, right beneath us, is the Nile crocodile. The Nile crocodile is the largest of the crocodilian species in Africa. They can reach lengths of up to 20 feet long. Quite a few crocs out on the banks, but there's also still quite a few in the water there. Please remain seated. Everybody remain seated.
I saw 16.
or the child in the back.
Oh.
Thank you.
16 over there. Whoa. Oh yeah.
Right up ahead is one of the more unique trees found out here on the reserve. It's called a baobab tree. It's also known as an upside down tree because it looks like it has its roots coming right out the top. But it's actually just leafless right now, and it'll remain that way for about 9 months out of the year in order to conserve water. And usually when folks think of wild Africa, this is more the area that they're referring to. This is the savannah. A lot of the animals out on the savannah rely on speed and agility in order to escape predators.
That name was at a rock. I think I should, on my TV, lion over there. I think I see something. Or something.
It's like the zoo.
Right over on the left there on top of those rocks are spotted hyenas. Hyenas are nocturnal, so a little unusual for one to even be awake. They live in female-dominated clans. Once again, remain seated at all times. That would go for the child in the back. Please remain seated. Parents, please supervise your children and ensure that they remain seated at all times. You will find it's a much better safari if you remain seated. Those over there on the left are sable antelopes. Very majestic looking species. They have horns that can reach lengths of up to 5 feet long. Females have the reddish brownish coat. Males tend to have more of a dark brown to almost even a blackish colored coat, and those coats get darker as they get older. All of the towering structures that you see all over the savannah are termite mounds, home to millions of termites. They've got their very own ecosystems going on inside of there, where they've got everything from a nursery for the little termites to the royal chambers for the termite queen. They've got their own fungi gardens towards the bottom. They'll even dig wells to make a source of water inside of there. Really quite fascinating structures. They can be over 30 feet tall in some areas here in Africa, but on average they'll be about 8 feet tall, which is still rather impressive considering that it is a tiny little termite that built those mounds. Those cattle right there are Ankole cattle, also known as the Watusi cattle. That's after the Watusi tribe, which first domesticated them about 2,000 years ago. They're the only domesticated species found out on the reserve because they do generally live side by side with wildlife, so they're right at home out here with all the other animals. The horns on those cattle are rather impressive looking. They grow to about 3 to 4 feet in length, and because their blood vessels run throughout those horns, it acts as a cooling system for the cattle. Also, if you see the little antelope out there with the dark colored stripe down their side, those are the springbok. They get their name from their ability to spring straight up in the air repeatedly about 6 to 8 feet. One of the reasons why they might do that would be to warn the rest of the herd of any danger that they've sensed nearby. They're also able to leap forward about 13 feet in just one jump. The grayish colored herd there is the white-bearded wildebeest, and the wildebeest is one of the animals best known for its migration. Not every wildebeest herd does migrate, but out of those that do, it'll be about 1.5 million individuals making a trek every year between about 500 to 1,000 miles. They'll do that just to follow the range to get to greener grasses. And then those are a Maasai giraffe right there. Giraffes, of course, are the world's tallest animal. When they are first born, they're about 6 feet tall. There's currently 3 baby giraffes out here on the reserve. Fully grown adults are 18 to 20 feet tall. Giraffes do have very good eyesight, which when combined with that height, does give them a very good advantage here because they're able to see everything going on out on the savannah, including seeing anything lurking in the taller grasses. Giraffes, of course, are well known for that long neck of theirs. It's composed of only 7 vertebrae, the exact same number as what's in your neck.
The giraffe's head was in her book. His whole neck was
There is an African elephant over on the right there. Both the male and female African elephants do have tusks. Herds are made up of females and juveniles, and males like that one will typically leave the herd and go out on their own by the time they're about 12 to 15 years old or so. It's the males that are also known as bull elephants.
I can hold a
Now you may notice a lot of
camera.
dirt on that elephant's back. It's using that as a natural sunscreen. A lot of animals use either dirt or mud for that purpose. We're going to head on over towards the other side of the savannah though, and with any luck, we might be able to find a herd of elephants that way. Herds are led by the matriarch of the family, one of the eldest, the female.